Ya, aus ya.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ciao, I am Dayang.
And I'm Faris, and we are from UniKL, Malaysia, Italy Design Institute, and we will be your MCs for today. Welcome to the Italian Design Day 2020. We are connected via Facebook Live at Embassy of Italy in Kuala Lumpur, UniKL page, and UniKL MIDI. For those who would like to ask any questions to our guest speakers, you may post your questions in the FB Live chat. We will be starting soon. Stay tuned with us. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. His Excellency Cristiano Maggi Pinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, Professor Dr. Sharoniza Musa, Acting President, Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, Honorable Speakers and Sponsors, Insinyur Dr. Azman Senin, Dean, Head of Campus, UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute, Deputy Presidents, top management members, staff and fellow students of University Kuala Lumpur, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the Italian Design Day 2020. On behalf of the organizer, we would like to thank His Excellency Cristiano Maggi Pinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, and all esteemed guests for joining us today. How are you all? I hope you're doing very well wherever you are, be it at the comfort of your office, home, or hostel.
If you have any questions to our guest speaker, please use the chat or comment platform and we will assist you from there. Kindly state your name, organization, institution, or campus you are from, together with your questions. Please make sure the question is related to today's session. Thank you.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the Italian government has designated the month of March as Italian Design Day 2020. The Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Luigi Di Maio, has predictively chosen design as a way to highlight the Italian lifestyle and Italy's contribution to the world. The Italian way is not only art and taste, but also industrial know-how that delivers reliable and beautiful products to your mouth. Adding that Italian companies generated 1/3 of global sales in the design sector. Since 2018, UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute has co-hosted Italian Design Day with the Embassy of Italy in Kuala Lumpur. As for this year, due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the event was postponed, and this time around, we have come up with a special webinar showcasing prominent design experts from Italy.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. To begin the session today, we are pleased to have Professor Dr. Sharoniza Musa, Acting President, Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, to deliver his welcoming address. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and very good afternoon and ciao to all. His Excellency Cristiano Maggi Pinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, honorable speakers and sponsors, Mr. Luigi Campanale, Dr. Danale Campatella, Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, Professor Luca Foy, Mr. Manalo Bossi, Engineer Dr. Azman Senin, Dean of Campus, UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute, all Deputy Presidents, top management members, staff and students of University Kuala Lumpur, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, on behalf of University Kuala Lumpur, I would like to place on record my highest appreciation to His Excellency Cristiano Maggi Pinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, for being with us today. I'm delighted to note that Italian Design Day has been a yearly event organized by Embassy of Italy in Malaysia and UniKL, Malaysia Italy Design Institute, which started in the year of 2018. For this year, with the theme Drawing the Future, Development, Innovation, Sustainability and Beauty, the Italian Design Day is made possible once again with the strong support received by UniKL from His Excellency himself and the Embassy. Thank you, Your Excellency Cristiano Maggi Pinto, and I look forward to receiving your continuous support to UniKL. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we are aware, the Italian government has designated the month of March for Italian Design Day, and in brief known as IDD. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the event was postponed. The Italian government has then announced the new official date for IDD on the 5th of November 2020. 102 Italian embassies, consulates, and trade commissions around the world to organize events and various activities to celebrate the uniqueness and contribution of Italian design. The objective of the Italian Design Day is to highlight the Italian lifestyle and Italy's contribution to the world. This year, the Italian Design Day has invited Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, Ambassador of Design from Politecnico di Milano, to deliver the keynote address. Among other activities organized in the conjunction with IDD 2020 are design competition and webinar, which will take place shortly. It is an honor to have Professor Luca Fua, Professor from Faculty of Design, Event Design Class, Politecnico di Milano, as the judge for the design competition and also as one of the guest speakers for the webinar. Other guest speakers here with us today for the presentation are Dr. Architect Luigi Campanale, Chief Executive Officer of SCE Project Asia, Dr. Danale Campetela, Chief Executive Officer of BRIAS China and BRIAS Asia, and Mr. Manalo Bossi, designer, Manalo Bossi Design Studio. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, UniKL is a unique university that offers the best higher technical vocational education and training programs since our establishment in 2022. With 12 campuses and 22,000 students enrolled, we are very proud of being prominent in higher technical vocational education and training through excellence in research, education, training, consultancy, entrepreneurship, and community services. Officially launched on 21st March 2019, the establishment of UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute, UniKL MIDI, reaffirms the cooperation between Malaysia and Italy in the field of human capital development, transfer of design technology, and creative design industries. The partnership established between UniKL and other training and higher learning institutions in Italy, which specialize in creative design, provide a viable platform to UniKL MIDI in the move forward towards establishing its position at the center of excellence on design. This is also a part of the university's strategic initiative to move forward and materialize the international partnership in design technology between UniKL and Italian industries to be among the top universities in the Asia through innovative program, research, and global linkages. Collaboration with various institutions and industries in Italy not only will provide a viable platform for the transfer of technology, knowledge exchange, human capital development, skill, but also in the entrepreneurial aspect, which is in line with UniKL mission to produce global enterprising professionals by providing an excellent higher technical education embedded with an enriching entrepreneurial experience. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, UniKL aspires to become one of the top universities in the world by offering enriching university experience towards achieving academic excellence and enhancing graduate life success. With this aspiration, UniKL has designated strong and comprehensive industrial mentorship program for our students to strengthen their employability prospects, such as career guidance, industrial engagement, and alumni engagement. Industrial mentorship program is a structured internship program that is designated based on industrial academia collaboration and linkages. It is a concept to introduce UniKL students to industrial culture and real working environment in order to increase the students' employability prospect from as early as first semester up to the final semester upon graduation and beyond. As the university progresses towards achieving the aspiration, we welcome more involvement and participation from Italian embassy, Italian institution and industry to collaborate in various potential areas, including students' final year project, student placement for internship, industrial mentorships, and opportunity for job vacancy for UniKL students once they graduated. In the pipeline the future collaboration between UniKL and Italy institution and industry, such as the University of Bologna with 2+2 degree program with Mara sponsorship, members of IMBA Italy Malaysia Business Association, and collaboration with Italian designer in the development of floor design rail in railway degree program. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to welcome more collaboration from Italian embassy, industries and institutions to participate in the development of UniKL MIDI creative design program. This will equip UniKL students with skill and knowledge, which are in line with the demand of creative design industry technology, thus creating graduates who are ready for the global market. I would also like to express my highest gratitude to Italian Embassy and UniKL MIDI for continuous commitment to strengthen this partnership. Through our collaborative effort and continuous support, we should be able to achieve bigger goals and deliver bigger outcomes. Last but not least, I hope that the linkages between UniKL and Italian Embassy will remain strong and fruitful forever. To all sponsors, we have contributed to IDD. To all sponsors who have contributed to IDD 2020, thank you for your kind support and generosity. To all speakers and presenters of the webinar today, we look forward to your presentation and knowledge sharing session. I am confident that all participants who are joining us today are very excited to hear from you. I trust the webinar 2 will be the first to the many more series of webinars that we'll have in the future that will be jointly organized by UniKL MIDI and the Italian Embassy. Till then, stay safe and remain stronger together. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Sharuniza, for the welcoming address.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to cordially invite His Excellency Cristiano Magipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dear Professor Sharuniza Musa, Acting President and CEO of University Kuala Lumpur. First of all, I'm glad to meet you, even though only virtually, but I hope that this will be the first of many other meetings, both virtually and in presence. Speakers and sponsor, Dr. Azman Senin, Dean and Head of Campus of the Malaysia-Italy Design Institute, Deputy Presidents, top management staff, students of the University of Kuala Lumpur, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank University Kuala Lumpur and MIDI for having given us once again this year the possibility to celebrate together the Italian Design Day. and for all that they have done in this year in order to promote Italian design in Malaysia through the creation and the official launch last year of MIDI, and through all the activities that they have keeping doing, I have to say, enthusiastically doing in order to promote Italian design in Malaysia and to transmit the know-how about design to Malaysian students. And of course, I would like to mention here the role that former president of UniKL, Dato' Masliham, has had in this, and we would like to thank him too for what he has done. I would like also to take the occasion to greet and to thank all the speakers tonight. The Italian speaker, Professor D'Ambrosio, Professor Luca Fois, who is a very old friend, and I'm very happy that he is here with us today virtually, after having followed us physically in all the events of the Italian Design Day in Malaysia. I don't see him, but I will hear him and see him speaking in a few minutes, as well as architect Luigi Campanale, Dr. Daniele Campetella, who is the CEO of a very important Italian company involved with design, BS, and Mr. Manolo Bossi, that I have had the occasion to meet here in Malaysia, because he has a long-standing relationship with this country. The theme of this year Design Day is drawing the future, development, innovation, sustainability, and beauty. And I think that it is a very fitting theme. Of course, the ones who last year figured out this theme did not foreseen what would have happened in 2020, but of course, yes, drawing the future is what we need to do in light of what is happening. We are forced to draw the future, and from this point of view, of course, design can help us, because as I think all our speakers will point out, design is, as a matter of fact, an instrument of development, of innovation, of sustainability, and of beauty, as the one who chose the theme of this year decided to say. Italy, as you know, has been, I would say, has been since centuries probably, a worldwide trendsetter and a point of reference in design, because of our aesthetic excellence, which gives us a formidable competitive advantage in this field. And design, you know, is everything. Design is fashion, design is furniture, design is architecture, is graphics, is automotive, is aerospace, is industrial machineries. I was thinking of BS. BS produce some of the most important wood carving and woodworking machines in the world. So they help designers to work on furniture. But if you see their machines, they are object of Italian designs in themselves. So they are also an example in themselves of Italian design. And as a matter of fact, Italy, as you can see, and I will give you just some very brief statistics about it, is a powerhouse in the matter of design. 10% of the total furniture manufacturers in the world are in Italy. 24 out of the 100 top luxury brands worldwide are in Italy, which means 1/4 concentrated in Italy all over the world. Italy is the first country in Europe for number of design companies, is the third for added value, the third for number of employees, and the third for turnover. So these figures, of course, speaks from themselves. And the reason of this is the tradition of craftsmanship of the Italian design, which goes back to medieval times, when there were the different corporation of the one who produced or worked on leather, on textiles, and so on. And this craftsmanship tradition has been keeping evolving and improving all over the years and the centuries, and has always been able to join tradition with innovation. The great thing about the Italian design and Italian designers has always been this, that they have been faithful to their centuries-old tradition, but at the same time they have been always able to adapt and to innovate, so to adapt to the new times. And as a matter of fact, Italian design has been able to adapt also to the new exigencies of the modern world, which is essentially sustainability. So they are becoming more and more efficient. They are promoting less and less use of energy and material. They are promoting recyclability and reusability, all things that become more and more necessary as we are going through the difficult times in which we are. So from this point of view, design can help us to navigate and to navigate better in a more sustainable and respectful way the so-called new normal in which we are all immersed, as we demonstrate from the fact that this event, which should have been a live event, has become a totally virtual and online event for the reasons that we all know. Of course, the tradition and the innovation of Italian design is based also on a widespread territorial system and on a widespread training system. Design school, advanced teaching institutions, universities are at the core of the Italian design system. And are at the core of the capability of Italy to share its know-how in design with other countries. What we are doing, I would say, so successfully with Malaysia in these few years. The president of the university UniKL has just mentioned some programs that MIDI would like to launch, among them a program with the University of Bologna for a 2+2 degree program, collaborations with Italian designer in the development of floor design rail, collaboration with the Italy-Malaysia Business Association, collaboration with Italian companies in Italy. Rest assured, dear Mr. President, that we will support you in all this program, because our aim is common. We would like to strengthen MIDI and University Kuala Lumpur, and the knowledge, and through MIDI and University Kuala Lumpur, the knowledge of design in Malaysia. So from this point of view, we have the same target, we share the same view, and we do not have any difficulty to say that we are here to support you, UniKL and MIDI, in this endeavor. I would like to conclude in this also by mentioning and thanking our sponsor tonight. There has been, and UniKL has been so proactive to organize also a competition, a design competition, on which we will know the results at the end of this afternoon, and this has been thanks to the idea and the push of UniKL, but also thanks to some Italian sponsors who are present here in Malaysia, and I would like to mention them. They are Illy Caffè, MPI, Generali Insurance, Berad, ST Microelectronics, and IMBA, which is the Italy-Malaysia Business Association, and the embassy, of course, because also the embassy has contributed to this. So I have to thank my collaborators for this. And as you finish your speech, Mr. President, I would like to finish it in the same way. I think that in general, not only in this difficult situation in which we are, but in general, and this is also the core of the work of diplomacy, if we stay together, we can do things better for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the inspiring speech. Keep the questions coming, and please don't forget to mention your name, organization, institution, or campus you are from, together with your question.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we would like to cordially invite Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, Ambassador of Design, Politecnico di Milano, to deliver her keynote address entitled Widespread Creativity in Response to COVID-19. Please welcome.
Hi everybody, I'm from Italy. To start, I really want to thank you and telling you how grateful I am for being here with you today within the Italian Design Day 2020. Before to start, of course, I would like to introduce myself, and I always do by telling that I am an enthusiastic service designer, visual thinker, and designer educator. It is because I put creativity and curiosity in everything I do. During my educational path, I tried to figure out and learn and practice lots of tools and methodologies related with the service design, design thinking, and human-centered design. And therefore, during my own career, I have been a designer educator in primary school, a facilitator during different workshops and jams with children and families, playtester about lots of design products and services for children and families. And most importantly, I have been an observator and a researcher within different research projects and in collaboration with different companies. I am now a research fellow in CILAB, Creative Industries Lab, a research department of Politecnico of Milano, a network of professors, experts, and students that work together by means of research projects, consultancy, and training programs with a particular focus on creative and cultural industries. But let's talk about my keynote regarding the widespread creativity in response to COVID emergency. and thanks to which we are going to talk about interesting initiatives for both entertainment and education for children. So during the lockdown a few months ago, my colleagues and I ran a very important research project entitled From COVID to Creativity, thanks to which we tried to reply to two main questions, such as what responses did the creativity business, small and medium size, during the COVID emergency, and most importantly, what were the contributions dictated by creative impulses and stimuli? We tried then to figure it out, understanding and visualizing the Italian panorama during the lockdown period with a specific focus of creative initiatives. And in order to do so, we tried to analyze and synthesize the various interpretations and actions in order to figure out those levers for innovation. How? By mapping, sharing, and analyzing significant case studies and best practice. So, in other words, we try to understand the new emerging habits in our lives that are introduction of social and physical distancing, the use of personal protective equipment, reorganization of business to work for excellent digital communication strategies. In order to do so, we collected more than 130 case studies, but the most important fact is that we really used all the tools and methodologies that we were at our disposals. So a very range of sources such as magazines, social networks, online videos, and direct contacts. We identified 6 macro themes that are generosity and solidarity, enabling widespread creativity, entertainment and education, channel innovation, partnership, and revision of the value system. The selection of the case studies that I'm going to show you in a few minutes don't belong to one specific macro theme. Indeed, you will see case studies that are spread of generosity that enable creativity in people by means of experiences for entertainment and education, and of course by using a new way of channel innovation, and of course thanks to new kind of partnerships. So it's time now to go in deep to our selection of case studies, best practice that most importantly are child-centered. And you will see a growing showing of case studies that start from actions made by individuals, small, medium enterprises, and at the end, multinational groups. And this because I really would like to prove you that all the creative actions and stimuli and experiences were actually made and shared by people. I also always love to show you and understand the etymology of the keywords that we usually use to synthesize and to express the best aspects of our research. But most importantly, you will see within the selection of the case studies lots of new ways and uses of social networks, such as Facebook, Instagrams, that we actually are using also for this event. You will see also some case studies at the national and an international level, and of course the general goal and aim that they want to provide quality time for children and family. So let's start. The first case study is from Eleonora Kummer, who is a professor, an Italian professor, that during the lockdown in Italy, she used her Facebook profile, her personal profile, in order to share very simple activities and free printables in order to allow children and families to build their own paper structures and also to foster and boost their own creativity and imagination in storytelling activities and lots of adventures at home. Following the same pathway, there is Gaia Stella, a freelance illustrator in Italy, and thanks to her behavior, to her positive attitude, she used her Instagram profile in order to share lots of free printables activities with different themes and with different kinds of shapes and colors and Ilara Faccioli is another freelancer here in Italy, and she used their social profiles in a very totally different way by using Instagram stories and Instagram posts in order to, again, provide families with quality time experiences and activities, but most importantly, they were specific focus on the emergency of lockdown, but with a very simple and playful perspective. Here, for example, you can see 3 different kinds of activities that were based in exploring the new daily routine, and also to explore and to get in touch in a different way, for example, with the neighborhood. Marco Scalcione is another best practice that we figured out during our research project, because he totally changed his market by providing a complete newspaper for children and families within his social network and website. Within the newspaper that was free and printable, of course, he provided the families with lots of activities that can be managed and held by both the child and the parent, for example. And another interesting fact is that right after the lockdown, Marco Scalcione continued this pathwork in order to provide more books, more released, and some of them are now be sold within his own website. Then we have Tata Robotica, which is an educational program and also managed by Enrica Amplo, that was one student of the Master in Design for Kids and Toys. And she aimed to spread positive examples and technological culture by using technology as a tool for better living together, especially for children, schools, and teenagers. But of course, during the lockdown, it wasn't possible to run practical laboratory and workshops. So La Tata Robotica tried to put together lots of different insights, tutorials, workshops in her own website in a new section. And the most important fact for these case studies is that all the content were provided by a community that to provide high quality time for the families and the children. Were made by educators, designers, researchers from all over the world. Then there is Hervé Tollet, who is a French artist that thanks to his initiative, he really spread do-it-yourself activity through all the world by providing quick tutorials through video and images, and some posts on the different social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo, and Instagram. And he was able to involve and engage children from all over the world in making their own ideal art exhibition at home. And if you go through all the different platforms, you will see the amazing results and the amazing way of sharing their own do-it-yourself creations, let's say, within the furnitures of the living room, within their own toys, and so on. So they created a strong community at a distance, of course. Then there is Kokai Design, who is a design studio in Italy. And again, during the lockdown, they were able to share and spread by means of a subscription lots of tables, files, and activities and tutorials in order to foster and boost playful experiences at home. As you can see, I am now moving from individual action to a group actions that can be design studios, or as in this case from Totok Bottega, a store and a shop. So I'm moving now from individuals to small and medium enterprises. Totok Bottega is a family-run store that provides, of course, the shop of toys and products for children, but most importantly, he also provides physical workshops and laboratories for both children and adults. regarding many different topics and kind of experiences. And during the lockdown, they provided for free lots of tutorials and video workshops based on, of course, on their own Bruno Munari method. And they used, as again, the social networks in order to spread positive attitude, positive behavior, and of course, positive experience. This case studies is MUBA, Museo del Bambino, is a Milanese Children's Museum, which of course organize play exhibitions and educational pathway and so on. And thanks to the lockdown, they were able to use again Instagram profile in a totally different way by providing workshops experiences at home by following, of course, their own perspective, exploring the rough materials that children and family can find at home. Then there is the Playful Living, which is a startup in Italy based on the different kind of interaction and connections between the different stakeholders and actors that we can find in design for kids field. So from furniture, nutrition, fashion, services, design, and so on. That during the lockdown, they were able to create and to run and to share an online campus for both children and adults. And the topics were very different, from emotion, from psychology, but also from learning and making and doing stuff together. And it was, of course, an amazing offering from a totally new perspective and use of technology. Then we have the well-known store, Flying Tiger Copenhagen, and I want to show you this because, of course, they were able to use, again, social media in a totally new different way by providing a new version of do-it-yourself activity into do-it-together activities. And as you can see through Instagram stories, Instagram posts, Facebook, and the new use of their own website, they were able to provide families both activities and tutorials to art and crafts, let's say, experiences at home. Last but not least, I want to show you IKEA case studies from Russia that were able to share a new version, let's say, of the well-known instruction of building furnitures, but with a specific view. Means that these instructions showed how to build and make forts at home. So it was a valuable insight and nudge to foster the creativity and imagination of children by using their own furniture and toys to start new adventures. We are at the end of this speech, of this keynote, and I hope you enjoy it. But before to leave you, I would like to share with you this quote from Luca Molinari, who, again, during the COVID, share many different playbooks and publications regarding the different behaviors and attitudes, by telling that there is no corner of the house that has been written about, investigated, and illustrated. So I want to tell you that by involving new skills and capabilities for personal and professional well-being and growth, this will be possible only by exploring the new or past practices between the collision of digital and physical dimension. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, for the wonderful presentation. You may use the chat platform in Facebook Live to ask any questions regarding the session just now. We shall now continue our session with the presentation by the guest speaker. To start off the session, we would like to invite our first speaker, Professor Luca Fois, Professor, Faculty of Design, Events Design Class, Politecnico di Milano, with the title New Mobility, Moving and Living Within the New Dimensions of Space and Time. Please welcome.
So, thank you to everybody. I'm happy to be here with you, and remember that I'm also in here, you see. I was in Kuala Lumpur many times in the last year, invited by my favorite ambassador, Oki Pint, and also visit the University of Kuala Lumpur, and we do conference and lecture and an exhibition. So I really like this all the time relation, and I hope to do something again in the next year to collaboration between the two universities. I visit the UniKL, is a very good university, and I hope the collaboration with Polytechnic will be increasing in the next year. I remember that our Polytechnico is the fifth in position in the world, but is the first as a public university, because we are the fifth, because the other are American or England with private university with many money. We are public university, not so many money, but so we are the fifth and the first as public. So we like to collaborate because the Polytechnic is really an international university. We are in many students of other countries, and we like to work with other universities. So this is the, I hope we can find some kind of collaboration in the future. And I thanks to our ambassador, because he have a talk very interesting about design, not a formal design, but what means the Italian design that is more and more strategic and system product service design, not only product, not only service, but the whole of the two. And is very important in this moment to have the vision about whole design, holistic design, not only product design. So I started to speak about my lesson, and I will do a flight over the mobility, not only to go deeper, but for a general flight. What is mobility? Mobility means velocity and time and space. So velocity is space divided time. This is the formula. And the space is velocity divided by time. And so time is space and divided by velocity. So the three terms, velocity, space, and time, are together. We cannot speak about mobility without speaking about space, time, and so about velocity. Mobility is something related to the brain and the body of all people. Our muscles move after a brain input, and the brain input comes after some perception. It implies very fast reaction or very thought out relation. So this is the original biological relation between brain and movement. Brain and body are together. We have relaxation in very few time, because this is a survival tools. So remember that mobility is something related to survival, because the speedy reaction comes from the old brain, the thought one from the last one. So we have some instinctive reaction when we hear a sound or we see something dramatic. We have an immediate reaction, and this was really a survival leverage for our humanity. And now, day by day, year by year, century by century, we build also some cultural and social reaction that create different kind of mobility. So remember, the starting point is mobility is related to brain and body are the same things. So mobility is a basic reaction for the survival. Brain-body speed reaction. Mobility so is related to wellness by the origin. Wellness is important, and the mobility can help us in this kind of approach. Mobility is very important. Is a life condition. Is not something more. Is not something against relax. It's something related to brain and body in the same time. We have to remember this, because many times we divide our life in different sectors, vertical sector, and we don't think that all are connected. We are complex body, we are complex living creatures, so, and the world is complex. So what I will say is mobility is related really with brain body all the moment. So it's an experience. Mobility is always an experience. Now, less body mobility creates the business of gym. This was another reason, because to demonstrate that mobility is very important. And now we have to increase the mobility moment and the mobility experience for people. So also now mobility is a survival or a healthy survival. Not the same as the primordial man many thousand years before, because their mobility was to run if they was a dinosaur or a big animal or a lion. But now is mobility survival for healthy balance, for our healthy, general healthy. So mobility is something related to our wellness. The children learn from mobility the relation between him or herself and space, himself and the other, himself and the time. This is very important. Mobility in the first year of the children, the first 1,000 days, but also after, is something that helps us to know himself and the relation from himself and the space, and from himself or the other also. So remember that mobility is something so general and is related to space and the other, to make a reaction between this kind of things, and is something that is related with our knowledge. So kids love velocity because it's the emotional interaction between space and time. So remember that also mobility is something in which the children can learn something, and can learn also the emotion and how to manage the emotion. This is really important. In this era, we change our approach about the emotion, because before many times the emotion were a secondary skill of our brain, of our life. But now the neuroscience demonstrates the emotion are very important to be, because they are connected with our brain, our reaction, our body, our life. And so the important is to know the emotion, because knowing the emotion, we can manage the emotion in the bad emotion and the good emotion. So, and mobility as velocity and as also time is really related with emotional interaction. And emotional interaction is something that related to our personality, our character, our personality in the whole sense of the word. Velocity is something that tests the child's capabilities, both mental and physical. I'm speaking about chills because, you know, I am very involved for many years in kids and toy design, because I think that the toys and the product, toys, the services, everything related to kids is not only product, but is a systematic service product, a systemic service product, because are not only the function, but also create knowledge, create experience, create emotion to the children. So it's something that helps the children to become adult. For this reason, kids and toy design is strategic in the world. Better kids will become better adults, and better adults will build better society. And this is very important. For this reason, design for kids and toys is strategic for everybody. Is a very contradiction in the world that all the government spend more money in police, in army, than in study, in school, in kindergarten, and in education for children. Because the better children don't do war when they will be adult, because perhaps better children in the world can collaborate better than now. So I think that design for kids and toys is really strategic of the world. It's a universal problem of the world, and can be, with the design, a leverage for a better world. And design is a bridge for different cultures to understand each other and to solve problems with collaboration. So velocity is related to emotion, and this is very important to know. And emotion means, in this case, adrenaline, and is important to live this kind of emotion and experience, but also to manage the emotion. Thus, mobility for kids means a multidimensional experience. For this reason, it's very important to study in the private home or public space or garden or everywhere. The mobility for kids is really, really important. It's something cultural and physical and psychological, and neuroscience said this, and we know this very, very good. Mobility is also something related to cultural and social environment of each us. Rich people mobility is different from poor people mobility. This is the problem of the world. So few very rich and many, many poor people. So we have, and design can help the government, all the government and the industry to resolve this problem day by day, because it's a problem. So don't speak in mobility in a same way in all the world, for all the category, for age, and also for a social category, because cultural and social environment create difference. Mobility in the desert is different than on ice. Mobility, and this is a technical problem, mobility with gasoline or wind has a different impact in the natural environment. So mobility is related to technology. This is true. Every times in the human story, technology modified the mobility, because mobility is something very important for the humanity. Now, the mobility from the beginning of the humanity was a leverage for life. To live is something that the human brain desire, the human emotion desire. Mobility is very, very important. So technology helped always the man to change and to do a better mobility, more sure, more speedy, more people that can go and go from one side to another. So from deep ocean research and to moon discovery, from daily mobility to worldwide trips, the public transport are something that technology helped the humanity to change product, to send product, to send culture, to send relate and to buy and to build the relation between in the world. So mobility is very important, connected with technology. Mobility means communication between different people while creating different experience. Without mobility, it is impossible to have good relation. And also in this moment, we are in a digital scenario, but it's something related to mobility, because the mobility of bit, mobility of electronic impulse, and is mobility because we have to go in some space to do something, to speak each other. So also mobility in the digital way is mobility. It's not only a physical mobility, but it's also digital mobility and digital experience. Cultural mobility are trips into different cultural experience. Physical world and digital world are together, are connected, and not one is better than the other. All obviously, the physical world is the base and is the start and the end of our life. But digital world is something that can help to live a better physical world. I don't agree with people that say, oh, wow, technology, no, the robots will win the humanity, or blah, blah, blah. I think that the balance between digital and physical is the goal, and we have to work in this. And design can help to create the balance between physical world and digital world. And this is movement, this is mobility. Now I can move without moving in this moment. So this is interesting, but there is something that moves, some impulse. They also, we have in the ocean some tunnel with our data go very speedy in the world. There is a network, a physical network, in which the mobility of our data go and return each other in few seconds, less than few seconds. In this moment, we are talking the same moment in different countries. This is amazing. This is mobility, is a data mobility. Before COVID, the low cost has greatly increased the travels around the world. The COVID-19 and high cost have greatly reduced the travels in the world. So we needed to make a digital mobility more than physical mobility, but we can operate in the same way, not in the same way, but it's very similar. Without the digital, we cannot do this, what we are doing now. The human mobility for a long period will be more local than global. But body mobility is different from mechanical mobility, as brain is different from AI artificial intelligence. Remember that we are completely different. We are unique as human animals, because we can change, we can think what don't exist, we can be creative, and we can build and design some mechanical like robots, but never the robots can win against us, because we always are a second more, and we are the creator of the artificial intelligence. So no problem. The problem is an ethic problem, to use technology for good goal and not bad goal. Not only for profit, but to create a better life for everybody in the world. This is the problem, the ethical solution, not only the profitable solution. As a way to move, to change point of view, mobility is important, is a medium mobility, as an end point, to arrive at any destination, as a goal, because we do not move enough. The experience of each movement, that will be cultural or physical, the experience of each movement enrich both of the psychophysical and physical dimension. Mobility has been always a medium for different purposes, personal, professional. So it's very important, because without mobility, we cannot realize very good relation. Also, when you are with one person, the movement to each other, the movement of our face, that also is something that create relation, is very important. So for me, mobility is not only mobility, it's movement in general. And the mobility can be a psychological mobility, no? That is language, is relationship. And the relation, for me, each relation, we have to design each relation, to project each relation. It's not only spontaneous, but to create good relation is a goal of the humanity. Design for kids and toys, to play and to move and to learn. This is the really story about mobility and children. Design for adults, the same, because remember that our experience learn us and modify our brain in all the life. I am very happy to know from the neuroscience in the last year, they discovered that also in my old age, some neurons dead, but some did and go away, but some neurons born again. So if I make a brain gym, I can play. This is the most important gym for our brain, to play in each part of our life, in each year of our life. This can create new neurons in our brain. So I'm happy, because otherwise, all the neurons are away, is difficult. But so I can work with you sometimes. Design for adults, the same, I remember. So to move, to play, and to move is to learn. And to learn means to have a better relation with the reality, with the society, with the other, with everybody. Design of product, service, and system is what we are doing now. In the talk of the ambassador, this was evident that now the Italian design is not only fashion, is not only furniture, but is technology. Sorry. Is technology, is services also. And all the products now are not only product, but are connected with their services. And we design now the system of product and services. And this holistic vision about design is the new frontier of design. And Mr. Occhipinti said so good, this kind of things. Three simple examples: product, family, bicycle, service, cycle workshop, system, bike sharing. This is the three level that I'm speaking. So this is a product for family, new product that can resolve the needs of a family, of a father or a mother with three sons in different age. You know? And this resolve a good problem, and is a very simple, sustainable, and also safety system to create mobility in a city. And then this is a services. This is a service, a cycle workshop that don't only works in your bike, but teach to you how to adjust and resolve problem for your cycle. No? And this is a service. They don't create new product, but they have to manage the problem of a cycle. And then what is the product service system design? Is this one. is a system of product, the cycle, connected, and you can, by sharing, you can take the cycle in every part of the city. You have an app, you pay with the app, you take the cycle, and you go around. This is a product service system design example. Now, I select these three about cycle because it's the symbol, the topic, the icona of mobility in the cycle from the story also. The new generation will be more environmentally sensitive. The energy is one of the most strategic problems. So this is the mobility in the future is something related to these two terms. Sustainability in all the sense, not only material, not only energy, but in all the process of the production and service and distribution of the product related to mobility. And then the energy is one of the most strategic problems. We know everybody what I mean. Better mobility, more quality and less quantity. Less is more if the less is well designed. Less is more is an ancient slogan in design, but I like to add less is more if the less is well designed. It's not only less. Less is, otherwise the risk is to be balanced. More digital mobility, this is sure. The future is more digital mobility. And I like to say something that an Italian, very intelligent woman, Laura Antonelli, that is senior curator of MoMA. MoMA is the New York Modern Museum. They say that the future of design will be to design the problems of the future, that to help to design the solution. And in the mobility, we have to study what will be the future of the mobility. COVID say perhaps that also the city have to change. In Italy, we are discussing about to transform the city in many little village, like little village, in which 50 minutes by foot is connected all the service, shops, school, kindergarten, service office, and governative office, all in 50 minutes by foot. And in a big city, I have several of these neo-village. This is a theory for the future because the mobility, we can reduce the mobility, the expensive mobility, no? The mobility with many people that now is very dangerous with COVID. So we have to think the future as what kind of problem we have to resolve. This is the means of Laura Antonelli. To design the problem is not to realize problem, but to think what kind of problem will appear in the future and to prepare solution for the future problem. This is a very intelligent position about design. And good balance between brain and body as a unique system, this is mobility. Good balance between velocity, space and time and environment. Perhaps less time and more and less velocity, more time and less velocity and the same space can be good for the environment. Otherwise can be another things if we find some different energy to move in the world. Good balance between freedom, security and wellness. Remember that freedom is important. Mobility is something that permits us to be free and to go away if we don't like to be here, or we go around to learn more and to have more relation with the other humanity and other cultures. Good balance between social values, the right to mobility and the right to knowledge. It's not separate to knowledge, to our brain. Good balance between local and global. Good balance between physical and digital moving. This is good mobility. Design can help humanity, researching better balance, perhaps less velocity, more space, and more time. Good luck for everybody, because we have to build our future. We have to design. Before build our future, we have to design our future. Before to design, we have to know what can be the problem and what can be the future problem, and then to resolve with design the solution. So thank you, and I am open to receive questions. Also, after this meeting, you can write me or contact me. I am very happy to discuss with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Luca Fois, for such an informative presentation. Next, we shall invite our second guest speaker, Dr. Architect Luigi Campanale, Chief Executive Officer of SCE Project Asia. with his presentation entitled Smart City, Heritage Preservation and Economic Development, Innovation and Sustainability through Urban Regeneration Projects. Please welcome.
Hi, everybody. I want to thank you for the opportunities given by the university and the embassy. I'm very honored to be here today, and I will try to give my contribution for the discussion. Just quickly introduction about ourselves. SC Project, it's a company based in Milano, and we are an architectural and engineering firm, and we provide design services for various type of projects. And here in Southeast Asia, we are based in Singapore and in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So today I'm gonna introduce the topic of the smart city applied to the urban regeneration projects. And I want to start to show that yes, we are all know what's happening for the pandemic, but actually the pandemic is not the only problem that we are facing. As you can see from this map, there is a lot of other problems that somehow has been kind of forgotten in recent years, and these are all due by the fact that the human activities, especially in construction, is becoming very pervasive to the environment. And so I think this pandemic, it's an opportunity to start to rethink the model of development. And this paper has been prepared also with the collaboration of the Venice Architecture Association, which also was a partner for an event that has been held last year in Kuala Lumpur, also thanks to the support of the Embassy of Italian in Kuala Lumpur, and the collaboration with several universities. We come up with very interesting solutions. So the problem of the development, especially in Southeast Asia, where it's fast growing, it's, as you know, can be very controversial. And the solution we are offering, it's a combination of new development and the implementation of smart city to the built environment. So smart city, it's a new definition of something that is a bit old, which is basically means good planning. And we believe that the implementation of technology at the urban level will significantly improve the efficiency and therefore minimize the impact to the environment. So the smart city application obviously will concern transportation and mobility. Professor Foyce already explained about this, and it was very insightful. But at the macro level, we definitely need to also including the infrastructure that should be smarter. It means not only keep building infrastructure, but also utilizing what we have. And that's actually the whole point of what I'm trying to explain to you. Smart city definitely will be has a lot of benefit, and the implementation of technology will improve all our activities. Of course, there will be a lot of difference how it will be implemented, and that's actually what I would like to show. So why we call it a smart and creative city. So this is a model that we propose that is, of course, based on the Italian experience, in a sense that the Italian cities are old, but so far they always accommodating new technology. And nowadays, the city that we are living in Italy are the same city that pretty much has been built by the Romans a few centuries ago, and it's been developed slowly in centuries. And so far the development was good. Also because the idea of recycling and keeping the built environment, it's really what makes the difference in Italian city. In terms of theory, the idea of smart city, it's based on the idea of circular economy, which I'm not going to explain today. I'm not an expert of circular economy, but it's actually the basic, the base of the discussion, because it's all about recycling. So, and recycling the building sounds not a very great definition, but actually is what we're talking about, because heritage is the historical building, but we have to consider also the building that has been done after the war, and that is a lot. And then also those buildings should be kept and better utilized in order to achieve the smart city concept. Another important economic theory, it's about the aggregation economy. So especially when we're talking about the implementation of projects in a built environment, it's important that the new project will consider the context and therefore try to recreate, create a better development that can be sustainable for the next generations. The key point is definitely the heritage preservation and the adaptive use. So how to implement those and become a smart city. First of all, let's discuss about the benefit. The benefit of the preservation of our history and our buildings and our also built environment and natural environment as well are, of course, various, and they unfold from social, from economic, from management, and also safety. All these benefits can be generated with less effort compared to the new built, because most of the resources are already built. The increase of efficiency, I think that will be the key, or actually to implement and really exploit the benefit at the maximum level. So talking about the strategy of implementation for smart city. So how do we implement smart city concept in a built environment? In our opinion, there are 4 strategies that actually could achieve this target. First, of course, we're talking about renovation of the built environment. So then the second is to create more resilient and self-sufficient cities, and the pandemic and the lockdown show the weakness of many cities, also very advanced in the Western world, that ran out of goods or ran out of primary things because the people was very emotional. The third strategy is about implementing capacity buildings as smart hub, which means to implement flexible buildings that can dialogue and talk to the city and create more efficiency within the city. And the fourth one is to combine the tradition and the innovation. So when we're talking about renovate the built environment, again, it's about recycling the resources. So the building, whatever it is, the building, if it's historical or not historical, it's already used resources from the environment, concrete rather than stone, rather than timber. All these materials should be recycled and should be reused for other purpose, or better, actually consolidated and kept to be alive for a longer time. In this, of course, the design is crucial. So how to implement in terms of design in Italy, in that sense, has been proven one of the leaders in the world to restore buildings and implement such things. So let's say that We are not yet at the smart level, but in that field, I would say that Italy is one of the leaders in the world. And this also have a good impact in the economy, because the cost of renovation is definitely cheaper compare a new build. And when I say cheaper, it means as overall, because as I said before, the resources has been already utilized. So therefore, if you can keep those, there will be a saving cost overall. This is a project I want to show you quickly of an example that show this. It's a project we done in Mestre with Sauerbruck. It's a German architect, and I also work on this project, which was a competition that been won, and actually this project has been also built. So it's all about renovation of a city center of Mestre, which we created a new building, which is a fantastic museum of art. And then the renovation of a courtyard that used to be a convent has been adapted use to become some sort of smart hub, and the building flexible with co-working space, retail, and event space that actually created in a city that was not really nice, let's say, that time. But after this project, only this project changed the face of the city center in Mestre, and this was one of the best projects we done, and we got a lot of awards for this. I'm very proud of this. Then the second strategy about the creation of a resilient and self-sufficient city, definitely we're talking about produce food or other resources within the city actually will be better, or in immediate vicinity of the city. So nowadays supermarket purchase product from all over the world, which increasing the pollution for transportation of cargo lift that they're going around, generating more and more pollution. And I think this it should be the way to produce new design, also giving a lot of idea for the architects. This is an example that it's ongoing now. It's a farm tower in London designed by architect Brandon Martella, and it's a very good example of this, because it's a mixed-use building that is also not only growing food inside, but it's a system of complete recycle of the water getting from the Thames, and the water recycle will also feed not only the usage of domestic water, but also the feed for the food production within the building, that actually can be of course sold for a cheaper price, not only to the habitant of the building, but for the whole neighborhood. And this type of project, I believe, it's the future. It's a new project, but this theory can be applied also for a already built building. The other implementation strategies is about capacity building as smart hub. So those buildings are, let's say, hybrid that have several functions inside that serve the community. So, for instance, any mixed use actually could be a capacity building of a smart hub, as long as enough public function that are serving the community, and therefore can improve the lifestyle of the area. And having those buildings distributed in a city, and they can connect to each other and talk to each other through the network, this will dramatically improve the quality of life, because nowadays the sharing of data is one of the most important activities that's happening in the economy. This is also another example of a project we done here in Saigon for the local government. It was incubator of business, or new business that we propose with the integrated access to the new built subway. So, and this type of hybrid building, I believe, also will be necessary. And not need to build too much, because obviously you don't need to have in each neighborhood, but let's say if you have 3 or 4 of these hubs in a city, this will be really a good improvement overall. The fourth strategy is about the combination of tradition and innovation. One of the good things of heritage building is that it has been built with mostly with natural materials such as brick, and there are several advantages on those buildings. And for sure, we're talking about thermal insulation. We have very high ceilings. So, but of course, we cannot build new like we built 150 years ago. It's important to follow the technology, but the implementation of the technology inside the built environment can actually improve significantly. For example, when you make a renovation project for a building, very important to implement thermal insulation, even in Southeast Asia, where you don't have winter season. The thermal insulation will give significant advantage for the cost saving of the running of the air conditioning. So passive building, which is not a new technology, it's because it's been already studied several decades ago. It's actually one of the best way to reduce the environmental footprint and increase the actual comfort within the building, and reducing the use of especially air condition and mechanical ventilation, which is we are finding out that there are also vehicle of spread of virus. So that's actually very key, especially in a country like Malaysia that is tropical, and therefore the use of air conditioning is massive, that create pollution and also contribute to the spread of disease. Then I want to show you a couple of few case study that a good practice of similar project that I wish that can be implemented in Malaysia or in other country in Southeast Asia. This is a project we working here in Vietnam. It's called Saigon Golden Square, and it's a mix between urban planning and architecture design. And it's concerning about the renovation of a very important building, which is the Central Market here in Saigon, called Bentham Market. It's let's say for KL is like the something like the Surya KLCC, that importance, but it's old building. And it's inserted in the context of the old city that was built by the French. And this project have a mix, as I said, of urban planning. So the implementation of several pedestrian zones that will reduce the traffic and will encourage the people to walk and leave the motorbike and the car at home. So reducing again the pollution and reducing also the heating, the implementation of water, the implementation of green area in a city center is crucial. Many cities in Southeast Asia, like Saigon, suffer of lack of green area. Kuala Lumpur has a lot of green area, but it's not public actually. So, but it's very important, I think, and it could be a good example. And the key, of course, is the combination of the adaptive use of existing building that you can see here in the map mark as 1 and 8. This is the market, and this one it's the actually former radar building that is converted in tourist attraction. And then, of course, the new building also it's important to be implemented because this type of project need money to be implemented. So we propose also a new actually tower that is not it's kind of based on the passive idea of having a mask on the facade that will reduce the heat of the sun and therefore the consumption of energy for the air condition. And this combination, I think, is quite good. I hope that we can make this happen, although we are only in a very early stage. You can see this is the actually the renovation proposal for the market, and again the new part is important. So we implement the basement because the current facility is not sufficient to cater for the needs of a shopping area, important shopping area, and therefore has been implemented. But on the top, the original building has been kept, has restored, and become a nice F&B and fresh market outlet. So we kept also the original function, because one of the problems of the heritage buildings is that they have a function that serve for generation the community, and changing completely the function is something that is not really sensitive for the community. Therefore, we kept the function of the market, but we implement new GFA in the basement in order to attract also more tourists and more investment as well. Then I want to show you the actually the work that has been done with the collaboration with Think City. That you may know, it's an NGO based in Penang and Kuala Lumpur, and also the universities in Malaysia that we done last year. So it's about we call it Reyouth KLCCD. KLCCD stand for Kuala Lumpur Creative and Cultural District, which is a definition given by Think City to the idea to restoring the original city center of Kuala Lumpur, which is not KLCC, not the Petronas, but it's the area around the former station and Jalan Sultan, all the area that you know very well, Petaling Street. We work with the students for a week, and I'm going to show you there is some of the best projects actually that we work together with them. So the work was based on an holistic approach of the area of the city center of Kuala Lumpur, incorporating also the project called River of Life that you may know already. And we basically work on first on a master plan level to try to reconnect the dots and creating a connection within the area, because now it's not really, let's say, connected. There is a lot of disconnection, given mainly by, of course, the transportation issue, that we have large roads, lack of pedestrian area. And the students have a fantastic idea to connecting the whole, we call precinct of the city center in a way that actually quite smart and feasible as well, because there is no new build. It's only a work of sewing a reconnection of the existing fabric of the city. So for example, in the first phase, the idea is to restore the actual existing heritage building that are in there, with functionality, them giving a new life and attracting more residents. Because one of the problems that we have in the city center in KL is actually that most of the residents left the city center because of the lack of infrastructure, because of the lack of services, and therefore they move in other area. And now, as you know, that part of the city is becoming also an attraction for, let's say, not only low income, but especially jobless and homeless. And as you know, it's not really nice and deserved for such a nice city like Kuala Lumpur. So the first point is to actually starting to restore the public building, giving new life, and then the implementation of new green area. This is very important. The green corridors that we create will connect the city center in a better way. And I think we believe that these two actions will already start. We created the condition to bring back the residents in the city. Then implementing those, theoretically, the third phase is to actually bring the commercial activities. This city center till 40 years ago was incredible, vibrant. You can see also from the architecture that are there, that are still left. There was a bank, there was everything in actually very, very vibrant and nice. And therefore, the reinstatement of those activities is crucial. So the government, of course, should take lead and create condition for the people to come back and for the conventional activities to come back. And all this, we believe, we recreate condition for very good living in this area. Then you can see here more a little bit in detail in terms of accessibility and mobility. To implement, there is a lot of infrastructure already present, actually, subway, train station. So it's not that there is nothing, but they are not connected. So, for example, the students propose to implement an autonomous bus called Gacha, which is developed by a Japanese company. It's basically work like a Grab or like a Uber, but it's a public bus. And I'm happy to share this information. It's very interesting. It's developed by Muji. Muji is it's a furniture company coming from Japan, but they also develop very nice and smart system for transportation. Then one of the key points that actually we work with the students is actually to propose a new function and revival the railway station. Railway station that we believe should be kept because there are discussion also of some greedy investor that they would like to remove the station and build some other skyscrapers. Instead, we strongly believe that this building should be revitalized and not demolished. And the students work on very nice ideas, also implementing new technology like solar panel, recycling water, to reduce also the use of air condition. And the idea is to actually create a mixed-use building that will still accommodate the major function of the station, because it's an important hub that should be revitalized from the connection point of view. But implementing new function, we believe that we can bring more life. For example, conference area, and then sharing office. So all these activities actually could create new life and bring new life to the building. I'm gonna go fast, sorry, because I'm running out of time. So basically, the message that we would like to convey is that the pandemic, it's creating problem, but it's also creating opportunity. And the opportunity is for us to rethink the development model, to really start to not only rethink but act. That's more important. So to think about that the society and the economy and nature must work together to create an harmonious development that it's more sustainable, and also hopefully avoid more of this problem that we are facing now, because actually this problem is being created by us, not by accident. Grazie. Thank you for your time, and I hope if you have any question, any information additional, please drop me a message. I will be happy to reply to you. Thank you so much.
Grazie, Architect Luigi Campanelli. Keep the questions coming, guys, and don't forget to mention your name, organization, institution, or campus you are from, together with your question.
We shall now proceed with our third speaker, Mr. Daniele Campetella, Chief Executive Officer of BSA China and BSA Asia, with the title Technology Meets Design. Please welcome.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow speakers, the ambassador to to Italy, His Excellency Mr. Cristiano Maggi Pinto. Good afternoon. To find myself here to celebrate this day with you today is an honor, and it fills me with pride. As an Italian resident abroad, this opportunity allows me to, in a small way, be an ambassador myself of our nation in the area of design, for which Italians are known as an example of excellence. I'm not an expert in design, and the company I represent might seem at first glance to be quite far from the idea of design. In fact, from a first analysis, the association of machinery, our core business, with design might seem incomprehensible. But in reality, for a closer look, they really do have much more in common than we might believe. Let's have an example. Let's say today you envision a customized table that you would like to make. This is not an ordinary table, but one that embodies the characteristics that you have given it as a design. What will you do? Probably you will draw the design of the table on a piece of paper and hand it to a carpenter, who will then try to create a table as close as possible to the one you have designed. How long will it take to complete the job? And how satisfied will you be with the end result? I will try by sharing an experience and an industrial journey to give evidence of how much technology and design can be intimately connected and reciprocally influenced. Allow me to introduce myself and the company I represent, which, unless you are familiar with the industry, you might have never heard of. My name is Daniele Campetella, and I'm the CEO of BS Asia and BS China, subsidiaries of BS Group. Our China and Southeast Asian hubs are in Dongguan and Kuala Lumpur, which has been my home for the past 6 years, and from where I'm talking now. BS Group is an Italian excellence and a long-established company specialized in designing, manufacturing, and distributing technologies and solutions for processing a wide range of materials, spanning from wood to glass, stone, plastics, advanced materials, metals. The company has a long history, more than 50 years now, being founded by Mr. Selci in 1969 in Pesaro, a town located along the Adriatic coast in Marche region. At that time, Pesaro was the heart of the Italian furniture industry, a district that gave birth over the years to important brands like Scavolini, Berloni, Febel, and BS has been from the very beginning tightly connected to this sector by giving answer to the needs of an industry that was enjoying a moment of significant growth driven by new wealth, changes in lifestyle, technological advances. The housing market was experiencing a boom, and the strong demand for furniture was a consequence of this boom. In this framework, BS has started playing an important role, providing the furniture industry with tools specifically designed for improving the productivity and the overall efficiency. 1969 is the founding year, and the early 70s were the years of the first automatic machines. Then in 1978, BS launched its first numerical control machine, and it was a wood drilling machine. Since then, BS has come a long way. The company has experienced continuous and progressive growth by expanding into new markets, by developing new technologies, and diversifying by transferring knowledge and expertise into new areas of business and materials. BS is now an international group operating across more than 120 countries through 40 branches worldwide and more than 300 agents. The company currently counts on 4 divisions, 12 production sites across the globe, and a working capital of more than 5,000 employees. BS has been present in Asia for more than 25 years now, and Malaysia is the country that from 2015 hosts our main hub for Southeast Asia and East Asia. It is from our facility located in Puchong that we manage sales and after-sales operations, thanks to a strong team of almost 100 employees of 11 different nationalities, many of which are located in the many territories we oversee, in line with the idea of being always as close as possible to our customers. Now, with reference to the journey of this company, to the products it develops, and to the relevant markets served, I believe that material represents the point of contact and the strongest connection with the world of design. Design and materials form an inseparable marriage. The transformation of materials into shapes and geometries according to aesthetic yet functional designs must necessarily pass through the availability of adequate technology. Machines are no longer just a production medium, but a sophisticated tool that combines design and manufacturing into one. If the designer is someone who gives form to an idea by using knowledge to combine and harmonize fundamentals such as materials, industrial processes, production processes, market, or needs such as use, operator interface, usage, or sensibility such as experience, style, and subject matter such as ergonomics, engineering, art, then if the designer is the one who combines these many elements, we are often partners and solution providers for the designer and the design industry, thereby enabling the entire process. Our machinery gives form to materials, and by providing the tools to produce in an efficient and sustainable way, our technology gives life to design. As I mentioned before, the first opportunity for BS to come in contact with the world of design was due to its strong connection with a rapidly growing furniture industry in its area. The furniture industry, as everyone probably knows, is well known for its attention to design. However, as time passed, the connection to the world of design expanded into other areas, including architectural design or industrial design, where form and materials other than wood require processes and adequate transformation technologies. I have spoken of the realization of ideas into shapes and objects as a moment of synthesis and convergence of elements. I would like now to show you a brief video which tells of an experience which is not too recent but relevant nonetheless, as I believe it perfectly describes this convergence of technology, materials and knowledge, and how these can come together to serve design. Please, the video.
La storia di questo progetto nasce da un nostro collaboratore ingegnere per la realizzazione di questa installazione riguardo alla festa del legno. La serata finale interverrà un famoso chef, Piero Marchesi, e da questo è nata l'idea del nostro ingegnere appunto di creare un qualcosa di diverso, vedere la capacità e potenzialità della nostra macchina e vedremo cosa saprà realizzare. Per riuscire a realizzare un'idea che nasce come sempre, prima di tutto nella testa, ma magari anche all'inizio proprio su un pezzo di carta, con il classico schizzo che esce di getto dalla mano. Il software poi deve fare da tramite, e tanto più è potente il software e le macchine, tanto più questo tramite è utile e facile da usare per concretizzare l'idea del designer. Secondo me l'artigiano moderno, innovativo, deve essere tecnologico, deve essere veloce, deve essere grintoso, e quindi in questo oggetto che c'è anche un po' la linea della velocità, la dinamicità. Abbiamo messo insieme un po' questi concetti per sperimentare delle forme complesse da realizzare. Essendo un'azienda, un artigiano che realizza su misura, c'è bisogno anche appunto della manualità e dell'esperienza acquisita, diciamo, negli anni per poter realizzare al meglio qualsiasi tipo di prodotto della nostra clientela. Cucina perché vogliamo utilizzarlo in un evento, in alcuni eventi che riguardano anche il food, e quindi abbiamo attrezzato questo oggetto che è più un'installazione, quasi una scultura, l'abbiamo utilizzata in questa direzione, e quindi l'abbiamo attrezzata anche perché possa funzionare come cucina effettivamente in tutti i sensi, insomma. Il VS garantisce la massima affidabilità, la riuscita e la finitura del lavoro alla perfezione assoluta, diciamo assoluta, perché il centro, il controllo non sbaglia.
The video we have just watched refers to a project which began in Brianza in 2014. It was an initiative between master artisans, designers, and technological innovators, all Italian, and tells of how the synergy between this seemingly unrelated world can give life to a unique piece of design. It also tells how a product, in this specific case a kitchen, designed with characteristics at the limit of an art installation, can be produced thanks to the contribution of various expertise that unite and collaborate. Among some of the protagonists of this project, I remember NIP Lombardia Foundation promoting vocational and educational activities, Cantu, Made Italia, a group of artisans and architects from the region that through cooperation wanted to add value to the typical artisan work of the area, Brianza. Paolo Molteni, architect and designer, as a project leader, coordinator, and design leader for this project. Fratelli Molteni, who offer unique, fine craftsmanship, space, and machinery. BS, who made software tools and technical expertise available to support the planning and the production of the kitchen K14. K14 is the name of this kitchen. QA Solutions, software house that provide specific modeling software tools. Like any design object, the project was made up of many different components and was based on in-depth analysis and a wide spectrum of considerations such as ergonomics, functionality, style, material selection, finishing, manufacturability, but also analysis of the production cycle, selection of the necessary expertise, of the right tools and technologies in order to make all this possible, and therefore to manage and to overcome complexities. A key technological factor, for instance, has been the identification of the right software tools and strategy in order to translate into a digital model an idea I initially drafted in a sketch and to put it into a form digitally and easily manageable by a CNC working center. Specifically, slicing manufacturing techniques were adopted to adapt to the working area of an existing CNC and therefore significantly reduce the design to product lead time. This video shows in only 3 minutes what usually happens on a daily basis. So right now, designers, artisans, professionals, and companies are sharing their expertise, experiences, and resources to produce objects of design, one of the many assets this nation can boost and be proud of. In this framework, BS Group will continue on the course of continuous innovation, developing always new technologies and cutting-edge solutions to give shape to materials and to the service of producible yet sustainable creativity. My speech comes to an end. I hope this short journey has helped to look at the design from a different perspective, that is the one of a machine manufacturer, technological innovator, and design partner. Thank you very much for these opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Daniele Campatella, for the presentation. We have come to the last presentation for today. With that, we would like to invite Mr. Manolo Bossi, designer, Manolo Bossi Design Studio, to share his information and experiences in a presentation entitled Create Innovation Through Cultural Contamination, a practice by Manolo Bossi Design Studio. Please welcome.
Hello to everyone. I wish to thank you, the embassy, the Italian embassy on Kuala Lumpur, in the person of Cristiano Magipinto, the ambassador, and I wish to thank you, the University of KL, for the invitation. So, I'm Manolo Bossi. I'm a designer, industrial designer, and the topic I bring you today is create innovation through cultural contamination. So, this is my studio. I say welcome to you again. So, make a relationship between the people is very important for me, for my work, because I work in very related process with the people, with the artisans, manufacturers, and also the entrepreneurs, and it's very important, this point. So my work is to design many different type of products. I work in different scale projects. Today I show you the one related to home furniture. So basically products with a function, possibly beautiful, and with a meanings. I start here to show some products I designed for some Italian companies in the last years. This is a carafe, a useful product you can have in your table. Is a water pitcher. This water pitcher have an interesting approach to design the product. Why? Because the question I posed to me were, can I design some objects that are very functional, but have also a very sculptural shape, and without a handle and without a cap? Because I want to avoid the problem of the dust that comes inside the water, and also to have an object very, very, how to say, simple and beautiful. So the idea is to work around this kind of hair that don't permit to the dust to enter inside. And the other aspect is this one, that I can use also for a little vases to put some flowers. Okay, this is another product I designed for another company. Is a SP House. Is a stool, and it's quite interesting because the study of that technology brings me to develop the idea. The idea is to have a robot machine that produce an half part of this. You can see this steel, this iron, that make different phases of the bending curve of the object. And so the idea is to have only an half part to produce that. You can see here, this half part is replicated and rotated and welded. So at the end, you have the product finished, but the idea is not only came from only a creative process, but came also with technological aspects, okay? So here another project I designed together with another designer, Diego Grandi is the name. We work with Sketch to design this collection of outstanding projects. We have commissioned by Cristina Morozzi to design this kind of product for Sketch. And these were an operation very, how to say, imaginary, because this kind of product is a stool and this is a table and comes from the nature. This is the adopting the philosophy of work on the scale of the project. This is a seeds of a papaver, and this is a seeds from a cardo that we were inspired by Karl Blossfeld, who was a very ancient botanical expert and one of the first photographers of the 19th century. So this is the product in one environment. We work also to create another scale of operation, to have the feeling of some luxury product, because we use the paint. We use very precious metals like gold. In this case, we are platinum, and in this case is bronze. This kind of products were selected by Alessandro Mendini and put inside a beautiful exhibition, the name who were Quali cose siamo at the Triennale of Milano in 2010. And the New York Times defined this exhibition very important, the most relevant of the last 10 years. So another product I designed for Bosa Ceramiche. This is vessels. You see there is holes, but you can leave the head and became vases. So it's a functional product. But really for me was interesting the point of starting the idea, because client asked me to design something for the table, but I heard the sound of a hole during one night and became my imaginary to think about. I want to study this kind of species, and I was very fascinated about the beautiful and the smart and the intelligence of these animals that are they are very, I would say, risk to their life in our days. So in that precise moment, I decided to develop this product to the manufacturer and to work in this direction differently from what the client asked me. But it was a very success. And this is the cover of Maison Objet. that is a very international furniture fair in Paris, in France. They choose my product to show, to make the poster of the exhibition and other kinds of other types of advices. Okay, so go through the theme of today, cultural contamination. Contamination, this word sounds very strange nowadays, yes, but I think it's very interesting because it's something that is have inside very important social aspects that also are inside my way to work and my work as a designer. So I want to explain my experience because I work in Malaysia for the last 5 years. So what the meanings of cultural contamination? I think diversity as an engine of innovation is a very important aspect. So in 2015, I took part of an international and passionate project. It's called PDP, Professional Designers Program. Such as industrial designers have the privilege to work around the world sometimes, meeting a lot of people, visiting a lot of beautiful places with their own history and with their own authentic touch. This has always been exactly what I'm looking for. Few years ago, I was dreaming to know the eastern part of the globe, l'Oriente. Globalization could be a great opportunity, even if what I refuse is to see the same corner of the streets, eating the same dishes and so on. What I consider a privilege is growth with acknowledgement that differences are the engine for innovation. The cultural contamination enriches deeply. Here then, that something never seen or experienced before creates a spark that we designers transform into a new creative energy. Exploring the uniqueness of the human being by uniting an open dialogue is one of the highest values we can achieve beyond all borders and walls. This is the best part of my job. As I teach a student away from my world, I learn, even him. In my works, the beauty comes from the being of the things. For instance, the Malaysia, this remote and beautiful place, so different from my daily, lead the reality of my design intention in this project. These two pictures I took there, an architectural stylistic feature from the KL rail station, a Moorish arch, and some bulbs of a palm tree taken outside the company I visited, inspired me to create some distinctive projects, thus paying homage to the diversity that I met in my path. And this is what deserves to be noted, of which I have the privilege and the pleasure to show you today. So I want to show you some pictures I took, and I want to show you what means cultural contamination for me. So all the pictures you see here are taken during my trips, and this is what inspired me. Some pictures are put together with a sense, another not, is a random, but as you can see, it's the beautiful I meet during my visiting in Malaysia and my operation in Malaysia. I want to show you this to how to explain to like a designer's work. I meet a lot of people, eat a lot of fantastic food. This is visiting some companies. And this is the rail station of Kuala Lumpur. That is one of the points that inspired me to develop a product. I love the mixed culture that is in Malaysia. And here are some works with the manufacturers. Okay. I want to show some works and awards I reached during my last experience in Malaysia. So one word to PDP. PDP is a professional design program it was organized by the Ministry of Timber Industries in Malaysia, and it achieved the goal to take some international design from Europe and go to raise the performance of the manufacturing in Malaysia. So we have to aim to achieve in this goal. One is to raise the performance of the manufacturers in the furniture field, and the other one is to make a very good contact and help to raise the skills of the talented and young talented emergent designers, Malaysian designers. So here are some pictures of my meetings and my works. Here are some prizes. This is a table I designed for a collection that started from this table and chair and became very, very big. We designed everything for the home, and the name is Zig's Table. I designed for Hill Product. Is a brand of deep furniture, a Muar-based company. This is Palm Tables. Is a little a little table that I designed, also inspired by the image I took before. This is a stool that I designed for a Jablo. It's typical, the work we have done is to work very closely with the manufacturer. In this case, we work a lot to work with typical timber of Malaysian, like a rubber wood. This is a sofa I designed for IB Sofa. This is a bank bed I designed for Jugraph. The name is Janis. It was inspired by Janis Joplin, this rebellious person of the songwriter of the 60s. This is another collection I designed for Contract Space. It was composed by little tables. You have a breakfast also for hotels and so on, and have a seat like a little stool. But if you use one lower like a seat, you can use this like a little table and so on, and also the benches. And I was inspired by a place that I met in Malaysia, that is a little shop that is for an half shop of flowers, and the other half was a restaurant of vegetarian restaurant. So this kind of synaptic helped me to make some idea to mix the nature and the furniture together. So this is the idea. Okay, how to put cultural contamination into practice. Here you can see the research I do after keeping this picture. This picture is of a typical Moorish arch I found inside this very beautiful rail station in Kuala Lumpur. So I start from this point to develop the idea, and I work with a company to try to develop a design of an easy chair. So this typical Moorish arch give me the feature of the shape of my intention. So this figure became the backrest and the seat of my little easy chair. The second phase is to make some sketches and try to explain to the company what they can want to realize. Here are some sketches about technical aspects that is very important in my job. And finally, I have an idea of what I want to present to the client. So the client was very enthusiastic. We do a lot of work about the engineering, because it was very important to explain the contribution of a designer as also like a technician. So this is some kind of aspects that is related to my work. I develop also all the technical detail with software or engineering software, and so I study each part of the process. I have control of each part of the process, and I have control of every aspects of the design too. And this is the final result. Okay, so I have to say thank you again, and I hope, as you can see, I work in the furniture field, but not only in the furniture field. But I want to say one thing very interesting, because Malaysia have more than 40 years working in this sector as a furniture competitor in the world. So I'm very happy to show today this kind of products, because also in this pandemic time, we have the necessity to have our homes more beautiful and comfortable, and a very warm place to be there to live. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
Grazie, Mr. Manolo Balsu. We shall now open for question and answer session. You may use the chat platform to ask any questions to all our invited guest speakers regarding the presentation just now. So I'll pass it to Dayang for the first questions. Excuse me, Dayang.
Sorry, the first question is for Professor Sylvia. The first question is how to approach public to appreciate design.
Okay, thank you so much for this question. It's very important to me. And an answer could say to consider and to make the final user, so the public, the audience, that of course depends on the specific fields related to the design topic, as active participants of the creative process. So you know that in design fields there are a lots of evolution and innovation in terms of both the tools and methodologies. So such as like design thinking, human-centered design, user-centered. All these methods really help designers to involve and engage the final users as active participants of the creative process. So I would say if you are able to involve and engage the community, the society in your own creative process and project, you will be able to let them appreciate and be part of your own project.
Thank you for the answer, Professor Sylvia. We have another interesting question for you. It is, what are the challenges or differences to be a female designer?
Okay, thank you again. It's a very sensitive topic, I will say, and also it opens up a lot of discussion about the differences and challenges for female workers, so not only designers, in all countries. So I will say it's a global issue. Even in Italy, there are lots of differences between female workers and male workers, but this is not make you give up of course. So regarding these differences, this depends on the culture and the society issue. I will focus more on the challenges related with the design figure. So this challenging of being a designer is genderless. I am a female designer, and the main issue, the main challenges is to build my own background and my own professional figure, because you know that design is very wide open, is very flexible, and it involves lots of different skills. So both female and male designers to experiment, to make connections, create your own network in order to build, foster, and boost your own persona as a professional and as a personal profile, of course. So never give up and keep going in building your own expertise.
Thank you so much, Professor Sylvia.
Thank you.
Next, we have a question for Professor Luca Foix. The first question is about how to assist the mobility for kids who has limited home and internet space.
Thank you for this question. This is a global problem because in the big city, and more than half of the humanity lives in the big city, the space is reduced and is reducing day by day, year by year. So I think that the gamification approach can resolve this problem, to use little space connected with digital experience or not, to make movement at home, a mix of gamification and gym to realize a different kind of mobility at home. In Milano, in Italy, we are starting from 2 years with a company, Italtrike, a beautiful new model of little cycle for kids without wheels, but connected with a video, so they can move the legs and in the same time have a trip video and a gamification with the video, so they can spend time on digital but making movement. So this can be a solution. But there is another cultural goal. Don't consider the space for children only the little room for children, but all the house, all the building are a space to play and to move. Children have fantasies, children are creative. They can invent many kinds of mobility if they can be free to move in a house, in a building. This is a cultural problem because many parents say, don't touch here, don't play here, don't stay here. No, this is an old and negative approach. The children have to live in all the house, in all the space, and to use this to play. And also the building in which lives, the court, I don't know, the garden, are all other space, kids' space. My theory is to open the space and create playing space in all the parts in which live a family and some children. This is very, very important. Not reduce the space for children to the little room. This is my answer. So to use creativity, to use gamification, to invent a different way to make movement.
Thank you for the answer, Professor Luca. Another question is, what about mental mobility in design? Because this has to do with change, how fast we adapt to change. How can we acquire better mental mobility in design?
But mental mobility is some culture that we have to teach in the university, not to be too much academic or formal, but to be more Socratic teacher, more coach than professor, to help the creativity, to grow the self-creativity in each student, the self-ability, what they love to do. We have to discover and help to discover to each student this way to creativity, his personal way to creativity and design. not only solve problem, but to think what don't exist, to be creative, to have vision, and then with the design to transform the vision in a real project. And then also to teach to a student to make many errors, experiment and errors, to try again. This is an important way to be creative and to maintain the curiosity. Curiosity is one topics element. And then to make trips, many trips, real or digital. What we can do, because if we have no money or there is COVID lockdown, we can make trips in a digital way. If don't, we can go outside to see the people, to observe people, to observe who produce, but to observe the user, the consumer, the children. When we speak about kids and toy design, we need to observe and to learn by children. This is the way to create a product. So the mental mobility is to be curious, to go like a gas, to go around in the air, in the atmosphere, and not limited in one space, to be really local, the best of local and the best of global.
Very interesting and insightful answer from Professor Luca. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Next, we have a few questions for architect Luigi Campanale. The first one is, for developing a new smart city, which is better understanding the human attitude or design to educate the human? This question comes from our fellow audience in Facebook Live, Mr. Khairul from Pereka, a design association in Malaysia.
Yes, thank you for the questions. Well, I believe we need both of that, actually. So it's the approach for a smart city is not different from any type of planning. It's to be multidisciplinary, considering so many different perspectives. So I think we need both of them, both of that.
Thank you. Another one is that when considering to recycle a historic or old building for modern use, is it safe to simply reuse the existing building, or do you need to renovate down to the foundation or structure as part of the recycle project? Well,
in general, the first action before renovate the building, recycle is more, let's say, renovate the building. It's definitely to carry out a technical due diligence. It's not expensive. You can be done with very easy instrument, and then based on the due diligence, you will find out if it's needed or not. Some cases needed, in other cases it's not needed. Actually, I can tell you that Malaysia, it's not a seismic country. So, and that's already a big thing. So let's say not that it's not seismic. Let's say that it's not seismic as, for example, Indonesia or Myanmar or Italy, and that's actually as let's say more safety in a sense. But you have to check. You have to carry out a good technical due diligence, because maybe there is a problem and you can intervene before starting to redecorate. You have to strengthen also the foundation. In general, they are not very big work that costs so much money. But if you check before, and if you need to intervene, you find the right expert, in general, you can do it and still keeping the originality of the building, reusing in a safe condition. Sometimes you can even improve the structural capacity. For example, if you renovate an old building and you need to turn in a hotel, normally the hotel require to install famous air condition equipment, which are very heavy. So those things are normally cannot cater for a slab that is built 100 years ago, and therefore you need to intervene. But these are things that goes along with the plan, with the intention of the renovation, the purpose of the building, but you still need to do a technical due diligence. So there is no a yes or no answer. Let's say that it's safe to check, and after you check, you can decide what is needed.
Thank you very much, Architect Luigi Campanale, for the answer.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Dayang. I think I'll proceed with my questions now. My question is for Dr. Daniele. So Italy have produced a lot of design ideas that they are the trendsetters throughout the world. However, because of globalization, how do you tackle the problem of counterfeit products?
Well, frankly speaking, I do think that fake, it may be a false problem, maybe. If we look at the design, let's put it like this. If good design is being innovative, then we should look ahead and focus on staying always a step ahead. And maybe we should also be flattered from being emulated sometimes. So I don't feel it as a true problem, frankly speaking.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the next question is, what other design trends do you consider to be set for the future?
Can you repeat it, please?
What other designs are the trends that you consider to be set for the future?
Well, as I said, I'm not a designer, but I do think that design is going to be highly affected by times. And so we are in a moment of profound changes, and I do believe that it will trigger new ideas and renovated creativity. I think the digital transformation is going to play an important role more and more. And so I think on interconnectivity as an important element, something that is going to be more and more important in the next future.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Tella, for your answers. Next, I think my question will go to Mr. Manolo Bossi. So the first question is, Malaysia is considered to be a multicultural society. This characteristic has a lot of influence in the design, typically in Malaysia. So what is your opinion about this?
Thank you for this question. It's very interesting. Yes, correct. As I have experienced many times, and it was something that really inspired me is this difference. So in this difference, you can find many elements to understand, to go deeply. And as the ambassador explained before, and I agree totally, always there is a balance. There is a balance from tradition and innovation. So what I explained before in one of my projects, like a designer, I show my practice, my design approach, that if I design for a manufacturer in Malaysia with a different culture of mine, I have to have a different approach. So I try to find this difference in the things, in the picture I took, where I talk with the people, we have a meeting with the society we have, and I try to understand what could be something very original and creative and wonderful aspect to pointing out. So I think this is the reason we have to go deeper in the tradition to make innovation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Manolo Bossi. I'm afraid that is all the time that we have for today. I'm very sorry for those who asked questions but didn't get any answer, because I'm afraid we have to proceed with our next agenda. So thank you very much for all the questions, and thank you once again to our honorable guest speakers.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the moment that we are waiting for, the announcement of design competition winners. Let's take a look at the montage. Congratulations to all winners.
With the end of the montage just now, we have come to the closing of Italian Design Day 2020. Once again, we would like to express our highest gratitude to His Excellency Cristiano Magipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, and all esteemed guests for joining us today. Till we meet again next year, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. And don't stay safe, stay home, stay strong together. We are UniKL.
pengemudi angkatan, nahoda kemajuan.